So we have been abnormally hot and dry. I'm going to put our next, what is it, like 10-day forecast up. It's like 93 today, tomorrow 90, 87, 91, and it's been that way for almost a week and a half now, close to it anyway. And then we cool back down. Looks like Sunday we go 65, 67, 73, 80, 82, 77. You'll look at the percentage over here, 20% chance of rain. That means it's an 80% chance that it's not going to rain. And then we got a 35% later on. But man, I'm telling you, it's just been abnormally hot and dry. And we're only April 15th. So what I'm going to do in this video is go over watering, how to recognize heat stress right there, and what to do to fix it, and some things you can do to protect your turf when it's gets this kind of weather. This is totally completely abnormal. I mean, typically we're 70s, low 70s in April. And then May, it'll start to crank up a little bit. And then, of course, June, it starts getting hot. But for those of you that's new, I'm Pete. This is my personal yard right here we're looking at. This is GCI turf type tall fescue. And you can see it is as thick as a hair on a dog's back. And look at the pollen. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but pollen's coming up off of it. Holy cow, it's so polleny right now. But anyway, my yard is fully irrigated, full-blown irrigation system, and I've only been running it like 15 minutes, 3 days a week, roughly. But after today, I'm going to start micromanaging that a little bit better and upping my minutes. And I'm even going to try a different way of watering this year. I'm going to actually try to water every day instead of the 3-4 days a week, deep and heavy, soaking it. I'm going to focus on trying to water every day that I'm not going to schedule a mowing. If I'm going to mow the yard, I'm not going to mow it water it that particular morning. And we're just going to see, just something to play around with. I've always wanted to try that. I'll probably make a dedicated video on that, go a little bit more in detail, but that's kind of the gist of the way I'm going to water. But anyway, let's look at this right here, and we'll go over some things that will give you an idea of whether your yard's stressed out or not. Now, to start, all living things need water, right? You and I need water. If you go without water or a liquid to hydrate yourself for about a week, you're probably going to suffer a little bit. It's probably you're not going to feel good, right? You may even wilt up and show a little needling. I don't know, you may. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. All plants need water. All living things need water. Your turf grass is no different. Yes, there are grasses that will go deeper into drought situations, that can go longer into periods without rain and not show signs of heat stress. Things like Bermuda grass, warm season turf, it can definitely go a lot longer without water and not show signs of heat stress and still actively grow and thrive and that kind of thing. Well, this is a cool season turf, and we're growing it in a warm environment. I live just outside of Greensboro, North Carolina. We get really hot, really muggy and humid during the summer. And so in order to have a fescue yard in my location, there's a few little things you have to do. And watering is crucial. Disease control, yeah, that's a must as well. But watering is crucial, I'm telling you. Typically, in most cases, not all, but most cases, you will see stress begin to happen on the edge of hard surfaces like concrete or asphalt. Why is that, Pete? Well, it's simple. The concrete and asphalt heat up quicker and stay hotter longer, and that dirt right up under here and the rock that's right up under here follows suit. It just heats up more. But if you come out here in the yard where there's nothing but dirt all the way down, it's going to hold moisture better. So you come back over here, this area of turf, so I don't know, maybe a foot in, maybe 2 foot in. I don't know. I've never actually tested it, but it's just common sense tells you that asphalt and concrete heats up and holds heat longer and gets hotter because it's a conductor of heat. I mean, it just holds the heat more. So therefore, it's going to heat this area of dirt up more and hold the heat there longer, and it's probably going to dry it out because heat dries out water, right? So I'm going to switch over to my iPhone because I can show you better. This camera right here I have doesn't do a lot of good when you try and zoom in, so let me switch over right quick. All right, so one thing you can do, take a little screwdriver. I like to use one that's 6 inches long. Stick it in the ground. Look at how easily that went in. That tells me that that area of ground has some moisture in it. So let's come over here to where the stressed out part is, and ooh, man, that ground, look. That is hard as a brick right there. And you can see it's still not all the way in. Let me pull that out. Look, about that much went in. That is crazy how much harder that is. And I just tested it right over there. That's the difference, maybe 25 feet difference. And look at that. And this is, closer to the sidewalk. You know what I mean? Could be lack of irrigation coverage, but it's not the case in my yard because I have superior irrigation coverage. So that tells me this area right here, this zone, just needs more water to make this ground hydrated like that ground over there. All right, so another test you can do is called the elasticity test. And yes, elasticity is a turf grass term that is used. You got a rubber band and you hold it in each finger and you pull it, and then it bounces back to its original shape because it's elastic. Like the guy on Fantastic Four, like that dude. Well, elasticity in turf looks like this. So you step on the ground like that, remove your foot, and see the turf bounce back up. Let's do it again. Step on the turf. Now watch the turf rebound when I move my foot. See it bouncing back up? Now let's go over here to an area that is stressed right here, and let's put our foot down. Oh, see how you can even still see the shape of my footprint? Watch, let's walk across the yard right here. Look at there. Look at all my feet print marks. That is another way that you can tell if your turf is stressed out. And yet a third way you can tell is get down in here and pick off a grass blade, and let's pull it up here. See how that grass blade right there is curled up? See the curling of it right there? It's not flat anymore. That is a surefire sign that this turf grass is stressed out. And when we come over here to an area that's a little more hydrated, you can look right here. You see that grass blade is completely flat. See that? Yet another way you can tell is touch the grass. I can feel the moisture inside the grass blades. It's kind of cool to the touch. You know what I mean? Of course, my hand's not getting wet because the grass isn't wet, but you can just feel the moisture down inside of it. Now, when I come over here, ooh, that just feels dry and crunchy. Look at that. Even when I squeeze it up in a little ball, see how it's wanting to stay that way? Just dry and crunchy. And yet another way is the color of the turf, okay? This works best when the sun is in your face and you're looking at the yard. So you may have to reposition yourself to get a good look at this, because if I go over there and look back this way, I'm not going to see that as good. But see this grayish blue tint right there? Look down here. See that one right there? Right there? See it down through there, all along that edge? That is another surefire way that you can know for a fact that your turf is dehydrated and it needs more water. It's as simple as that. I think that's 5 different ways that you can tell. And if you get 2 out of the 4 or 5, then you know for sure your grass is dehydrated and needs some water. So what's something you can do to protect your turf? Well, number one is don't mow it. Stay off of it, okay? When it's stressed out like that, do not continue to mow the grass. You are only damaging it more and stressing it out even more. In my case, like I said, my yard's irrigated and I've got a handful of little spots that are stressing, but the rest of the yard's still growing good. I'm gonna mow it today, matter of fact, with a new mower I got. I'll make a video on that new mower and show you that one a little later. But hands down, the number one thing you can do to protect your yard is stay the heck off of it with a lawnmower. Instead of mowing, spend that time watering your turf. You know, I've got the new GCI turf sprinkler. I'm gonna put a picture up of it right here on the website. You can check it out. Built to last a lifetime, literally. You know, I'm the kind of guy who I can't stand stuff that breaks over time. But this particular sprinkler, I designed, it's fully stainless steel from the body down to the stake. Comes with stainless steel quick disconnects, and then it's got a Rainbird 5000 head on it, which is also stainless steel interior, so it's gonna last a very, very, very long time. It's one of those things that you can probably pass down to your kids and your will. Something else you can do is put down a wetting agent. And this is the hydrate. I'm gonna go down at a full rate of this. Right here on the label it says apply at the rate of 4 pounds per thousand. Heavier rates can be used for localized dry spots up to 10 pounds per thousand. So that would be considered a localized dry spot, the areas I just showed you, because you know it's a spot that's dry, not the entire yard. But I'm gonna go down at the full rate, the max rate, the 10 pound per thousand over my yard, my main yard out here and the very backyard back there, just so I can get it down. And I've got some help with the watering, and maybe I won't have to run my irrigation quite as much. We'll kind of see, time will tell with that. That does come in a granular and a liquid. I'll link both of them up in the description below, along with the GCI turf sprinkler. So what is my immediate plans to get everything, every square inch of the yard back in shape? Well, number one, I'm gonna mow it because it needs mowing. It's nice and bushy and shaggy. Number two, I'm gonna go down with that granular hydrate. Number three, I'm gonna increase my watering to every day, okay? 15 minutes a zone every single morning. I think it starts at like 6 a.m. or 5 a.m., something like that. And around the house yard runs, and then it takes a break for like an hour. And then I think around 9 o'clock in the morning, maybe, the very backyard runs. And it'll do the same thing, 15 minutes and that kind of thing. I'm on a well, so in between watering my main yard here, my very backyard, I let the well rest for like an hour so it can, you know, regenerate itself fully before the backyard gets watering. I might go ahead and switch this up to like 4 a.m. on the main yard, and that would put the very backyard watering at like, I don't know, 7 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And then I can still get my hour of break in between the two yards watering. Something else I'm gonna do is kind of like an old golf course trick. It's called syringing, okay? That would be about 2-3 o'clock-ish during the day. I'll have a separate program set up on my irrigation. And what that will do is run each zone for like 5 minutes. And that's just a cool down period. Imagine you're at the beach, it's smoking hot, and you've been out on the beach all day and you want to cool off before you go back to the room. What do? You go run, jump in the ocean, right? And that water cools your temperature down. Well, syringing this, not necessarily in the heat of the day, but going out of the heat of the day, kind of on the down slope, that cools the turf down going into the late afternoon. Now, one trick with that is you do not want to do this too late in the day. The goal here is to get the syringing done and then the grass be dry to the touch going into overnight. You don't want wet grass blades going into overnight, because that wet grass doesn't have time to dry off, and that's what causes disease when you have moisture sitting on the turf grass overnight. That's why when you start getting thunderstorms late in the afternoon, and then all of a sudden you wake up the next day and you got brown patch, you know what I'm saying? That's the reasoning behind all of that. So normal watering routine, and then I'm going to be syringing it as well, and then along with the wetting agent hydrate going down, I give it about a week, and then all this out here will have popped back into life and, you know, doing what it does. Oh, and here's you another little hint. See how some of those grass blades down there, it's got a little tinge of brown to it? That is because they are dry. I can feel this one section of grass right here. So this must be a little hard spot in the yard. I can feel it right there. It just feels dry to the touch. Where when you move right over here, I can feel the moisture in the plant. Okay, I know that sounds weird because I'm not magical or nothing, but you can just feel the elasticity in the plant, whereas you can't. Where was that spot at? Right there. That spot right there. You know what I'm saying? So, hope this helps you with watering. Get your water right. Check you later.